Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and yes, I'm making this in the bunker again. Uh, um, with this video I want to introduce making your own gear, and I want to start with something simple, and I'll show you that in a second. It's really not that hard, and in this case I'm going to show you how to make a rucksack for throwing your bear bag line over the tree limbs. That being said, before I make a project, I usually try to draw it out on a piece of paper with the intent of getting all the dimensions right. And I'll show you that here. I keep all my designs in case I have to go back and ever make new ones. In this case, there's the plans for the rucksack. You have to excuse the shadow. And in the case of the rucksack, I'll explain later, I have to sew it in a particular order. These are my sewing instructions. Okay. Today's project is going to be, as I said, a rucksack. This is one I made, and I'll show you a better view. Okay. All right. It's made out of Dyneema composite fabric. Dyneema is a fiber that's supposedly stronger than steel by weight. And what I use is 1.43 ounce Dyneema for these because I really want them to be tough. The 1.43 refers how many ounces per square yard. So it gives you an idea of the thickness of the fabric. All right. That being said, let's get underway. All right. This is one I made already, and some things I want to show you. The seam on this side, that's the fold. It's hard to see, but up here I folded over, and you can just see the edge of the fabric there, and sewed that. That makes a draw cord channel, so the draw cord can go completely out and stick out the side. To sew this draw cord channel, this opening is too small to fit over that and sew. So I have to be very careful. Sorry about the loudness of that. I have to figure out my sewing procedure in the right order. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sew the seam on the back side all the way up. Then I'm going to sew these little angles at the edges of what will be the channel for the drawstring. That will leave me an opening for the cord once I sew this side. And you'll see me do that as I go. And then once I have this seam done and those done, I'll fold this over to form the channel for the draw cord. And once that's in place, I can sew this second seam all the way down. And each of these seams will have double stitch, so essentially I'll have a double row of stitching, and I will show you each stage as I go. Alright, right now I have my 12 3/4 inch sheet. I have it folded over so the sides are even, the edges are even, and I'm going to sew them. Alright, so I got my fabric folded over. I'm going to sew it with about 1/4 inch of seam allowance, which means that's how much fabric I want on the other side of the seam. Another waste material. A couple back stitches. And okay, as you can see that stitch right there. Trim the excess thread. Ah. Yeah. Some people, they just fold this over and sew it. In my case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to split the seam allowance. I just got to cut this so it folds over. Just that little bit. And I'm going to fold each side outward and down so I can put the next set of stitching in. And that way, when I stitch through those folds, I actually am sewing through 4 pieces of fabric. That'll help make it more durable, especially since this is going to be banged around a lot. And I'm just going to sew just inside of the original seam. And you can use the string to help pull it through since it's a slippery fabric. And actually, that'll be the seam that you see right there. You can't even see the stitching. Got the excess thread. Now that's that side. All right. Now, I'm going to form the drawstring channel by folding over like that and then sewing down here. But I want to make sure there ends up being an opening that the string will have to come out. The string will be able to come out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold these corners, and it's going to be a little below where my channel will be. When I finally fold it, it'll look like that. So when I make the seam down here, there'll still be a space for the string to come out. So I want to sew those in place so that when I thread it, it doesn't get hung up. Thread length, spin it. And I'm going to do that on the other side also. That's what you have to do. The next thread. Alright. As you can see, that little fold over is in place. Now, I will fold this over, folding over about 3/4 of an inch of material. And I'll proceed to put 2 rows of stitching down there in order to secure that channel. One row. And about 1/8 of an inch away. I went a little crooked with that one, but I'm not worried about it. It's just a rucksack. If I was worried about it, I would have gone a little slower. Cut the extra threads. There you can see the little fold back that leaves an opening for the string once I make the seam down here. And I'm going to do that right now. And again, there's my seam. You can see the thread. Got my excess strings off. Alright. Again, I got it where it's folded there. I gotta put a little tear in it so I can fold this back on itself. Now I can fold these to each side of the original stitch line. And I'll put another row of stitching right in there. What I'm going to do is right across here, I'm going to put a bar tack, which is essentially a very small zigzag stitch that'll keep the threads from possibly unraveling. Set my machine for zigzag, very tight stitch. I could probably get it to work. Half the time the trouble is just trying to get stuff out of the way of itself. So, first thing I'm going to do, back stitch. Go forward a little. And you can see it's not the best job, but like I said, it's only a rucksack. You can see it better on this side. And a little stitch right across the seam. That'll keep that one, because that's where the stress of the string's going to be. Get rid of these threads. Alright. The bag itself is made. The next part is draw cord. If you have one of these things, it's called a threader, and you just put your string through the holes. Gives you something stiff to slide it through. So now go to the opening, push it in. Guiding it through. The tough part is when you get to that seam, because it's essentially a bump. So you got to find your way through it. There we go. Of course, your channel needs to be big enough for your threader to fit. I've on occasion sewn a channel trying to make it as small as possible, and then had to play games with threading a cord through. This is 1/16 round draw cord. Once you have it through, you're good. Bear with me, I have to go get a barrel clamp. I have a number of different sizes. I ordered them. I also, whenever I take a piece of gear apart, or broken down or worn out piece of gear, I cut all the useful buckles and stuff off. Helps if you have clean ends. Right. That's about all I need. What I'll do, just tie it over, take both strings, make an overhand knot in them. All right. I set the barrel clamp right at the edge of the fabric, so that I definitely have enough cord, and I'll move this knot right up against the barrel clamp. Pull it tight. That keeps the clamp from coming off. Gives you enough string. And then, boom, done. And there's your rucksack. Now mine are a little bigger than most because I carry 80 feet of Z-line in my bear bag. But that's it. There's your bear bag. Of course, this is the inside, because remember we sewed the seams on the inside, so you have to invert it, push out the corners, but sometimes it's a lot harder than you might think. And that is your completed rucksack. Boom. Boom. Easy peasy. Half an hour. Well, there you go. A completed rucksack. I have several of these. I figure they get beat up. You put some rocks in them, they got sharp edges, you miss your tree branch. Well, not me. I don't miss my tree branch. I've seen some people miss their tree branch and it comes crashing down and the rocks, just poke holes in it. So it's good to have an extra one or two. I have, I'll have them sent to me with my mail drops and such. But that's it. Simple. A half hour of work and you're done. The trick is the materials. If you liked what you see, comment down below. Hit the subscribe button. I'll do some more of these. And if you look down below in the description, I'll give you the names of the companies I buy my materials from. And you can contact them. So feel free. All right. Again, comment. I appreciate the comments. They tell me, if I'm doing a good job. And again, subscribe. I'll have more. I had a request to do a water bottle shoulder pocket like mine. I'm hoping to get that in before I head out for the trail. If not, I'll certainly do it afterwards, and I'll do a bunch of other stuff. Great. Thanks. We'll talk to you in the next video, hopefully before I get on trail.